scenes and sources.
Scenes and sources. Okay.
Right, the scenes.
Yeah, it's about a 3 or 4 year old laptop, and over time it got slow.
Here's what started this big mess. Windows 365.
Yeah, sir, I tried, but it's not working. Same, sir. I have put your mail across stating that.
Quite annoying. And most any time that I try to use my computer, I'm plagued with pop-ups.
Is that the only way that you can run the new Office? Is web-based
No.
programs?
Is somebody starting to snore?
You're boring, Doug. Sorry.
Good morning. It's 11:02 a.m. on a Saturday. Welcome to this Saturday edition, live Windows Training DougBetts. I was trying to look up some information for you just before the show started, and I got going down a squirrel hole following a rabbit, and I looked up and oh my gosh, it's 11 o'clock. Yeah, Doug, we've heard your excuses before. Your lame excuses.
Hey, Doug.
And that was John Williams. Thank you for saying hello. Jim's on time. How about that? Yeah, what I was looking for was that leather jacket that is so expensive now. I knew I didn't spend that much money on it. And so I'd found my original purchase. It was like $170, something like that when I bought it, because it was a brand new item for them. They had it on sale for the EAA, which is the aviation club, one of the aviation clubs that I was involved with at the time. I'm going to turn this microphone. Let's see. Let's do that mute button, because it wasn't really pointed at me. And my audio looks like it's bouncing right. Okay. Oh, is there anybody in Zoom? Nope. So I'm not going to bring them in right now. For topics today. Well, now this is interesting. With the new YouTube layout and me being zoomed in, I need another tab. I need another monitoring. I'll do it. And then close chat. And that way I can get to topics. Review M.2 Storage, NVMe Gen 1 through 5, PCIe X versus PCIe 4, Sata, left notch, right notch, double notch, nachos with cheese. Here
Ken
we
Stout
go.
Live said nothing important.
Hailed you. I have a monitor I can loan you, he says. No, I don't need another monitor. I can do it all on this. Discuss audio receiver needed by chiropractor. Yes, that's right. I have my chiropractor. We need an audio receiver, kind of, sort of. Thought I'd show you pictures of that, what we're needing to do. Explore the CrowdStrike event further. Apply uBlock origin scripts to Big Beast for returning YouTube watch page to the old style. And of course,
chat, please.
Priority over any of that is to take any questions that come up in the chat room or that came by email. Stout says, good one. And then he does a read chat, please. Good one. Yeah, well, you haven't fully explored that yet. Stanza the Mage, good morning. Yesterday was an interesting day for me. My company uses CrowdStrike. Oh boy, tell us more. Tell us more. Even if you want to come into Zoom and tell us all about that. The troubles that I had yesterday with SpeakerBot was not due to CrowdStrike. I found a different reason. Here we go, Ken.
Said, I deserve to be put in the waiting room.
If you didn't hear that. And Stout Live said, I deserve to be put in the waiting room. We'll log right in and check it out, he says. Ida, that incident affected Medicare. JN region. JN. Can't place what that is. So we cannot send claims to Medicare until further notice. My LogMeIn rescue was impacted. And I think LogMeIn accounts in general, were impacted. I didn't find any confirmation, but I had, when I went to client computers yesterday, I saw their LogMeIn couldn't connect, but nobody actually called me with a problem because they didn't try to connect at that time. But I was unable to connect remotely to client computers. Supposedly, Elon Musk has ordered CrowdStrike to be removed from all computers on all of his computer companies. I'd sure like to see some documentation about that, because that is, I think, is an unwise decision. Before knowing what actually happened and actually the cause of it, that's premature. Maybe somebody speculated that he might. Maybe he threatened that he might. Get them to get on the ball about it. Brian Lightfoot, Jim on time must be fake Jim.
Read chat, please.
Got here. Don Williams, my neighbor doctor's appointment was canceled. Yeah, they probably had troubles in that office then. Elmo has no impulse control. You see it on X every day. Yeah, Elon Musk will come out and say things that may not follow through.
Ken Stout Live said, I am Groot.
He's not even bothered typing anything. He's just checking it out for the isn't he? Well, while we're on, I go do this other Ken Stout thing that's not on my topics list, but I got something for Ken Stout. Come over here to show you monitor 2, block the mirror effect. Isn't that? Oh, yeah, it is. Oh, I have it blocked with cam 1. That's why you're not getting the mirror effect.
Ken Stout Live said, I am Groot.
I am not a complete idiot. And he's not going to type text after the D, not knowing what that thing's going to do.
Sarcasm alert.
Yeah, that was sarcasm. But over here, Ken had a thing last night where he had an audio playing too loud, and he thought he had to go back into DaVinci Resolve and lower the volume, lower the audio volume, and export it. No, you don't guts to. Because you can just go to, let's see, no, none of these are actually going to play it, but when you actually have something playing, there's an audio meter out here for it. And you can just turn that audio down, that item. You don't have to go re-render it. And it's not shown right
chat,
there
please.
because I don't have an item that's playing audio through there. Read chat, please, was Ken. Already fixed an OBS. Okay, you saw that. All right. Brian Lightfoot, I'm not a moron, you know. I'm not a complete idiot, just a moron. Is that what Brian is trying to finish that? No. He just did another one. I didn't hear it. No. That's read chat, please. It's not an exclamation mark. T. Do I have a T? Do I have anything that's a T? He just experimenting? I don't remember having it. My mouse was moving over to Baby Beast. That's why it skipped on. Right close to the edge. Nope, no T. That's weird. Chris Garrett with a bad thunderstorm with lightning. Lights are blinking. My lights are blinking right behind me. Does your thunder and lightning happen in response to your voice, Chris? Mine does. Max is scared of thunder. Oh man, dogs, yeah, some of them are really troubled with noises like that. And I heard a rumor that thunder only happens when it's raining. Rick Lakes, hello. Jonathan, hello. And Stout Live, hello. 82 degrees sunny. Winds at 5 miles an hour. Nice day, but going to be hot and humid. I think there was another one in there, Ken. I don't think you've triggered yet. 4 of them. Ran Israel, hello. Selden Ball, Mike Wojcik, Ida Rivera, Brian Lightfoot. Hello to everybody, including Stormy and CrowdStrike. Jonathan Ken, Jeff Ryman. Where's Waldo? Oh, I'm going to need to go turn the air conditioning on again. Ida Rivera. Egg M. John Williams. Jim, stunningly on time, inconceivable. This evening we solved the work problem. I'm going to guess that has to do with Lorna. Jim. Jim, CrowdStrike makes me so happy to not be in corporate IT. Yes, indeed. You know what? Corporate IT does not appeal to me. Corporate IT is very, very different.
Jim KJ3 and said,
I don't believe I would do that. Yeah, that only those different words are only for Ken Stout. Nobody else will experience that. It's limited Ken Stout Live. Here it comes.
Ken Stout Live said, I am Groot.
You had that one before. One that done yet? Those are random.
Ken Stout Live said, I am Groot.
Now repeat that one. Still 2 of them that I haven't heard it do. Heard it do the said nothing important and I am Groot. 2 others I don't think I've heard yet. Ida, that incident affected Medicare. I read that one already.
Ken Stout Live said nothing important.
You know what? I think I've seen that before where it
No way.
get to some of them. Now, if I go change the priority weight of the other 2, that should make them up. Or off.
Yes, affirmative.
Okay. Affirmative from John Williams. I'm not quite sure what that was in response to. Is there any cutting out of the microphone? Because I've last audio that I monitored, it's still present. Got that one, that one, that one. So got enough there. Ah. Oh, hey, we're going to get awesome. Sons of the Mage is going to tell us some experiences, I think. Let's get this set up here. Hang on.
John Williams said, speak English.
Let's get this thing right. That over there. And stream video on. Change them. I could be able to hear. Sansa, do we hear you now?
Hello.
Yes, I hear you. Awesome.
Civic Manor said,
Nice to speak with you. It's been a while.
Yes, it has. So long that I do not remember. I'm going to take your word for it that you've been on my Zoom before, right? You have.
Yeah, a few times. It was probably a year ago, a year and a half, maybe.
All right, awesome. Yeah, I'm trying to adjust that. Bit there. But, oh, I see what's going on. I don't have the Zoom. Right. All right. So, yeah, you had CrowdStrike cause you problems. Tell us about it.
Sure. Let me give you a little bit of a background. I work for a company that does software for real estate.
Okay.
We have about 500 users spread across 5 different locations across the United States. The majority of our users work remotely. Some have a hybrid schedule where they'll come into the office, but there's many people in different states that aren't even near one of the locations. So yeah, it was quite a challenge. As you may have heard, there's a fix. That fix involves going into safe mode and deleting a file from, I believe it's like Windows System 32 drivers, CrowdStrike. Now, the challenge, of course, I should add another caveat. So our company also uses BitLocker. So that makes it a little bit more difficult. So
Okay.
yeah, it was very challenging because you have to read, the long BitLocker key over, over Zoom and have them repeat that back. We ran into a couple issues where users didn't have admin rights to get into the CrowdStrike folder. And then there was one interesting issue with a Dell computer. I think it was I think it was a Latitude 5520 or 21, where the user couldn't get into safe mode because when they went into the advanced troubleshoot settings, safe mode wasn't showing up. So that user actually found the solution before I did. So that was kind of interesting. The solution to that was the Dell computer was in the BIOS. It was set to go to RAID mode. So you had to change that to SATA AHCI, and then the startup settings were available to get into safe mode. So yeah, the challenges were, reading that tedious BitLocker key, walking the user to how to get into safe mode. As you recall, back in the Windows 7 days, it used to be just F8 on every computer would get you into safe mode. Now it's different. There's some, even within the same manufacturer, Dell, there's some computers that you have to go to F12, and then you have to go into the Dell recovery, and then you have to select Windows recovery. So it's such a mess. And I had the issue on my own computer. So, it's one of those situations where they tell you when you're on your plane, put the mask on yourself. So I had to fix my own computer first before I helped any people. Luckily, I wasn't hit as much as most people because my office, there's maybe half a dozen people in there. And then in there in a given day, either, half a dozen to a dozen on a busy day. But yeah, with all the remote users, it's quite a challenge. So yeah, I'm willing to answer any questions you may have.
Okay, so I'm showing that solution or that fix right here. Boot Windows safe mode or Windows recovery environment. Navigate to Windows System 32 drivers CrowdStrike directory. Locate the matching file C-0s29 asterisk sys and delete it. Boot the host normally, but there were complications to even getting to that point as you described. Is this the basic solution though, once you get to the right place that you guys used?
Correct.
Okay. Now, something that occurred to me as soon as I saw this, that I thought, well, now wait a minute. There's hackers out there, black hat people are going to be trying to reverse engineer that and figure out what is being deleted there. That sounded like taking a machete to fix a problem rather than a surgical knife. What massive amount of stuff are they deleting there, and what other vulnerabilities might be present just by deleting that entire .sys file? Now, maybe that .sys file was only thing it did was to cause that problem, but that seems unlikely to me. That it was probably there for some other purpose that now a vulnerability. Any thoughts along those lines from your side?
I mean, yeah, right now we need CrowdStrike to be transparent. Yeah, there's many people with the theory that, this wasn't just a simple update mess up, with code. It may have been something malicious, but yeah, they need to come out soon and be transparent on that. That's for sure.
Now, another thing that I was suspecting that we might find out is that this did not affect all computers configured with CrowdStrike, but rather computers that had some kind of common configuration that caused the complication. If it affected all CrowdStrike computers, that would imply that they didn't even do any in-office testing before sending it out. Do you have any awareness that this did or did not affect all CrowdStrike configured computers? Now, for you, your office, your enterprise, it may have affected all of yours. That doesn't mean it affected all CrowdStrike installed computers across the world. Your office
Right.
would all have some kind of common configurations.
So yeah, it didn't affect all users. In my case, my computer was left on. So I believe some users, they turn off their computer and they take it home. I think some of the users that weren't affected, they probably had their computers off
During the time that was up, that update went out. So that would not
Correct.
really be a response to my question. I'm thinking it
Sure.
should be
Sorry.
true that there's computers out there that were on at the time of the update, but the update did not trigger the symptom for them because they don't have whatever other configuration is present CrowdStrike didn't foresee as being a problem. That would make sense and be somewhat tolerable, excusable. If it affected every computer out there that was on at the time of the update, then that's really bad.
Right.
So I'm going to read between the lines there and say that you have not heard about other CrowdStrike installed computers across the world that were not affected. They were not affected, even though they were on at the time.
Well, I should add, my company uses Intune, and what used to be Azure AD.
Yeah.
And we have a very unique setup. We have about 5 different domains, and yeah, we have 3 main technicians. I'm one of them, that are spread across the country. So yeah, we have mostly Dell computers, but some of them are set up differently. There are some older ones that aren't in Intune. So it's very hard for me to give you what's the common thread,
right,
or why were some users not affected. All I know is that some of them may have had their computer off. That's just a theory without talking to all of them. But yeah, we have a very unique setup. Obviously, Mac users weren't affected because we do have some Mac users that have CrowdStrike and are connected to Intune, Microsoft Intune. But yeah, right now, I don't have any answer on, like I said,
right. And is it possible that even within your enterprise, there was some computers that were on at the time of the update and have CrowdStrike installed, but have some other dissimilar configuration that were not affected, and those would not have stood out to you because they had no reason to tell you that?
Correct. I would agree with that.
Could be the case, and you wouldn't know about it without doing a massive, survey, as we all like surveys.
Yeah, we were told we were supposed to call some of the VIPs, like the some of the people in charge of the money and transferring that, the payroll, that kind of thing. We were calling some VIPs and asking them, "Hey, are you affected by this?" and that kind of thing. And fortunately, one of the the VIPs that's in charge of the money, they weren't affected. So we're gonna find some more people come Monday probably because many people take Fridays off or might be out on vacation. So.
Right.
And the other thing that it was affecting a lot of different systems. It wasn't just the computers. Our HR payroll system was down, so you couldn't clock in. It affected my location. Our some of our network equipment is in a data center, so I had to use the guest Wi-Fi. The guest Wi-Fi was up, but our corporate Wi-Fi and corporate wired LAN was down.
Wow. All right. Let me say hello to some of the other people here. Chris Garrett, hello.
Hello.
Error 404, person not family. All right. Ed, did you have any stories to bring to us today? Just a yes or no, and I'll come back to you if you do.
No, I don't. I was just gonna make one comment about that CrowdStrike. But
Yeah, go ahead.
just ATMs. Didn't it affect ATMs too?
If they were Windows computers and had CrowdStrike, very, very likely. And I did hear banks and ATMs affected. That doesn't mean all of them were affected.
Yeah, I heard somebody had to go to each computer and do that fix.
Right, exactly. Any computers that are not attended by people normally would have had to have somebody manually go up to them and do the fix. And like, imagine server farms.
Yeah, I
that are
know.
Windows based, massive amount
I
of
was thinking
computers.
about ATMs. I mean, they had to go to every ATM.
Right. And the bank staff on site might not be qualified to deal with that. I mean, even any end user is not going to be qualified to do that. So you have to most likely send a technician out. Yeah, massive, massive. Hello, Bill Dawson.
Hello.
You have anything to bring today?
Not today.
All right. On to Jim. How are you, Jim?
I'm hanging in there.
All right. Any comments?
No, other than my original comment in the YouTube chat where I'm so glad I'm not in corporate IT.
Oh yeah. I aside from dealing with that trouble, the job of in a corporate IT environment just does not appeal to me. I like things being different every day. That's really so much in corporate IT. Is that a fair statement, Costanza?
Sometimes I would like to be Jim or Kerry Holzman or you, but then, I also see how it's kind of hard. Some of your, customers and, it's nice to have those like guaranteed benefits like healthcare and a 401k. So there's the good with the bad,
That's true. That's true. Definitely have advantages and disadvantages on either side, and good for a person to be at the place that they like. Let's see, yeah. Oh, Iowa Hank say ATMs run on XP.
I've seen that.
Yeah, and it's quite possible that an ATM would not be configured with CrowdStrike because there's nobody using that computer, browsing the internet,
Brian
installing
Lightfoot
software on it.
Any way that CrowdStrike can be liable for losses or damages.
There was a time and period where most, if not all, ATMs were running some version of OS2.
Yeah. So that's that could vary from one place to another. Brian's speakerbot question: any way that CrowdStrike can be liable for losses or damages? Well, that depends upon the contract that they have with their users, and if a clever attorney can find some way to break the liability limitations that's in that contract. That's me speaking as a totally not even amateur law person. Hello, Islander Jer. But Yeah, you can sue somebody for anything that you choose to sue. Doesn't mean that the judge isn't going to throw your case out for lack of merit. Certainly people can try. As far as I know. All right. I'm not aware of any other questions in chat. Ken Stout at one point said audio was low, then gone. Now the people in outer space can hear you. That was the troll. That was right after Zavi's troll alert. He somehow know that Ken Stout was about to do.
He's just getting older. He's getting hard of hearing.
All right. Learned last Friday that you shouldn't drop your laptop from Islander Jair. I'm going to read between the lines, between that single line, and say you dropped your laptop.
Yeah, that's usually a bad thing.
Yeah. All right. Was there any requests for topics in my topics list or other questions from chat or from Zoom? This would be the time. I was intending to go find those script commands that somebody gave. Whoever gave us the script commands for uBlock Origin to return the viewing page to normal settings. Are you in chat? Able to bring that up? Commands. I'm going to go poking around looking for them because that's the thing that I was most eager to try. Islander Jair says, I did drop the laptop, but a replacement screen was 26, what is that, pounds? I repasted GPU and GPU, so not all is lost. Repasted.
Yes, he took off the heat sinks off the. Apparently, it's a gaming laptop, based on that description.
Yeah,
it's got a heat sink that covers both. It's probably got at least 2 fans, and yeah, repasting it while he was in there had because you basically have to take the thing apart to replace the screen. So while you were
all right, got it.
While he was in there, he just put new thermal paste on it.
Got it. Somehow the replacement screen part, I didn't read between the lines there to realize that's what was damaged, is breaking the screen, and I was thinking, dropping it. The fix was to reapply thermal paste to the CPU and GPU. No, just did that while he was in there. Got it. Better than, so it's not, all is not lost, better than she started. A little bit. Man, Israel, topics 5 and 6. Greg M, it was him that block origin. 5 and 6. It's 5 and 6. The
M.2.
M.2 and
the
experiment. Yeah. The AceMagic, I have 2 of them up and running over here. This one is on right now, and I can see it on this screen. We're not going to do anything with it because that is on with TeamViewer configuration for the software vendor. Install his software on it. And I have the other one that doesn't have any of my client's configuration on it yet. So pretty free to explore with it. So let's go with the requested topics. Review M.2 storage. So I'm going to try again saying it as I understand it at this point. You people correct me where I'm wrong. M.2 storage, we're dealing with Sata and NVMe, the 2 basic types. You can have generation 1 through generation 5 of PCIe X2. And depending upon what generation level your motherboard is at, your NVMe would have to support that generation or higher in order for you to get the generation that the motherboard supports. Same thing with the number of lanes for the PCIe. They term generation and PCIe, and here's where I'm going to ask you to correct me if I'm wrong. The terms generation for PCIe and PCIe, NVMe, those generations apply to in the NVMe arena, not to the SATA arena. In the SATA arena, we don't have any generations to talk about. Correct? I'm not hearing any response in Zoom, so we will get a response on that in chat. And for, so there's PCIe X4 and X4, those X2 and X4. Either of those can be generation 1 all the way through 5. And for instance, a PCIe Gen 4 X2.
Ran Israel said generation for NVMe. And PCIe is pretty much the same.
That is what I'm understanding. But a generation 4 at X2 and a generation 3 at X4 are going to be more comparable speeds. You have a lower generation of X4 and it's going to run as fast or faster than a higher generation at X2. On the SATA NVMe, that's going to be using the SATA technology of the motherboard, not using PCIe lanes at all. Now the left notch only, as you're about to insert the M.2, I'm describing left as you're looking at the slot as you're going to plug the M.2 into it. If it has a notch on the left, then that, I believe, as I understand, is going to be SATA only or PCIe X2. PCIe X4 will not fit. Right notch only could fit a PCIe X2 or X4 or SATA. Not certain I'm right on that. Double notch intended for, yeah, double notch, you're only going to be able to plug in an M.2 that has 2 notches. What's that going to be? I'm going to guess that's SATA.
Ran Israel
SATA
said single
only.
B notch is rarely used. SATA NVMe X2 is usually double notch.
Yeah, that's been my observation, that the single B notch on the left is rarely seen or used, and that's why I think it's SATA. Now he says SATA NVMe X2 is usually double notched. Now that double notched M.2 will fit into an M.2 socket that is single notch on either side if the M.2 is double notched. Double notch M.2 be SATA NVMe X2. And you have to go back to saying work that I do for my clients never need to know that. But it's interesting. All right, so was there anything I missed in describing all of that? Yeah, I'm up to speed. Oh, let's see. Greg M has given me those script commands. uBlock origin.
Ran Israel said the design philosophy is simple. If the drive physically fits the slot, it won't explode on power on.
So the converse, Ran Israel, is you're saying if the drive doesn't physically fit in the slot, then it is going to explode when you turn it on. Break something, you get it in the slot. Those. No response needed. Single B notch rarely used. Yeah. Okay. Now we were requested for 5 and 6. 6. Does anybody got some experiment you're interested in doing with the AceMagic
Ran
S1
Israel
mini
said
computer?
if you must use a hammer to install it, you're doing it wrong.
I've only got one, and you don't have the adapter for it, so.
And well, I don't know. Tell me what your idea is.
Well, I was looking at this little sucker that you've managed to make me curious about. I will curse you later. But the person I have in mind for it has a very old monitor, which is VGA. So unless you've got an HDMI to VGA adapter and a VGA monitor, I can't think of anything.
I'd have both.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm impressed now.
Maybe.
Yeah, VGA will never die. There's always at least one or two computers out there.
HDMI to VGA, and this monitor here does have VGA.
Okay.
So what you're interested in is connecting this computer to the VGA. All right.
Yes.
Go try that.
The person I have in mind for this is my wife's aunt, who is in her 80s, and she's running
Ran
off
Israel
of a
said you
very, very
mentioned the
old.
ability to manually select Windows updates.
Was it an
Also,
A6
I'm
series
interested if the
AMD
drive in the
chip?
other mini PC is also
And I was
recognized
looking for
as
a cheap
X2.
way to get her on something else, and this might actually do it.
All right. We did a speaker box talking. Get them in the computer without monitor.
Correct.
Read chat, please.
I will get to that chat message here unless Jim will read.
Is it the one after Ran Israel? Because John Williams said he had an HDMI to VGA 6-foot cable.
Can you hand that to me?
If he can, I will be immensely impressed.
I'm right computer here, so I don't. Now all I need, but have tons of them. Room.
Read chat, please.
All right. Go look at chat. Don Williams, not enough voltage to send me through Cat 6 cable. Oh, to bring the cable. Yeah, Wintermute, the mic would be dropping out when I walk so far away. Let me, I'm gonna turn off that noise gate filter, which means you're gonna hear fan noise, but you should be able to hear me better when I'm away from the microphone. And there's also a noise suppression filter that's on. That might be part of it too. I think I caught what you're trying to get me to read. John Williams, yeah, the 6-foot cable. No, that's ran Israel before. If you must have a hammer, you're doing it wrong. You mentioned the ability to manually select Windows Update. Also, I'm interested if the drive on the other mini PC is also recognized as X2. If the drive in the other mini PC is also recognized as X2. Okay, yeah. Because the one we're going to look at now is the other computer. It's not the same one that we looked at before. About the Windows updates, let me come to that, back to that topic after we finish with this topic. Because
John Williams
I
said
do have
CrowdStrike might meet
information
me in the dark room.
I should have a appropriate HDMI cable around here. If not, I'll have to go to another room. All right, I'll be back.
One of these days, he's got to learn to do that in the right accent. I'll be back.
That'd be scary.
Yeah, it sure would. Anyway.
I am back.
He tried. He tried.
Labeled VGA video HDMI display
Oh,
port
geez.
adapters.
That's an awfully large bin.
This is after getting rid of a bunch of excess cables.
Oh, you've got that problem too, huh? I got cables laying around here. It's like, why do I have this? And I'm like, oh, because I might need it someday, which will be never.
As soon as you throw it out, you'll need it. You know
exactly. Yeah, exactly it. So much stuff around here. Half the time I just want to pull a dumpster into the driveway and just start shoving.
Only problem, you need it the next day.
So question for the chat room, can you hear me better while I'm back here since I disabled that filter? Now that adapter.
Yes, affirmative.
That adapter might be a one-way communication.
And therein lies the issue. Or am I going to have an issue trying to get it hooked up in the first place?
Right. This monitor has 3 connections available, 2 HDMI and 1 VGA.
Oh, that's interesting. I'm used to monitors with 3 connections as well, but it's usually 1 HDMI and 1 DVI and a VGA.
Yeah, that's not working yet, but I'm thinking it's because that adapter is intended to function the other direction.
Going from VGA to HDMI.
Yeah.
Svimana said, I think you have an adapter
yeah, I'm
from
looking
VGA
for the reverse,
computer
basically.
to HDMI monitor.
And that's why I would be surprised if you've got one.
Well, I also have some inventory in my car that is not completely duplicated. The label on the front of this box includes the word adapters. And I'm not seeing the bag labeled adapters, so I think that's in my car.
All right, well, we can skip it for now. Worst case, I'll order the thing. I'll order an adapter, which I also see on Amazon, and if it doesn't work out, I'll just return it.
Yeah. Well, hey, I've already walked away once. It's about the same amount of time to go to the car.
Yeah, don't worry about it. I'll figure it out.
All right, well, I'll perhaps try it after the show and let you know on Ken's show tonight.
Okay.
Okay, so, but there was a request.
Read chat,
now wait a minute.
please.
Another issue there is I currently have 2 HDMI cables going out from that computer, one going to my capture card. So I have that computer on screen now through the other HDMI port. See, Zvi says, read chat. I think you have an adapter from VGA computer to HDMI monitor. Yeah, that's what we were saying. It goes the other direction.
Yeah, unfortunately, those things are usually not bi-directional.
Right.
I found that out the hard way when I was trying to go from, what was it, HDMI to DisplayPort. I figured, well, I can just hook up a cable this way or that way, and then it would work. Wrong.
And the documentation when you're ordering those, it's not always clear which way the device goes. They write it in a way that they think is clear, but that's like a lot of things in life. When a person who knows what they mean to say can say it in a way that they don't realize could be ambiguous from the other side. All right, I'm giving up on that.
Smart move.
Let's see if this came back onto my capture card because I'm on the other port now. So there was the question. Oh, somebody was interested in, does it show that 2-lane designation? Let's make this bigger so I can see that screen while I'm faced this way. I don't think I have that already downloaded onto this computer for Crystal Disk Info. Right? That's what we want to see, yeah. Let's just go download it. I won't worry about my SW setup folder. I do intend to be restoring the image from the first computer to this computer when I get to that point. So I don't care what we do with this installation. Oops. That was a Freudian slip in typing.
Saying if we blow it up, no big deal.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And then let's see, not quick download, but scroll down to here. Click that download. Dismiss the ad. And then zip. Will this run from within the zip, or do I have to extract it first?
Probably it'd be best to extract it first.
Yeah, when I try to run it, it gives me a choice of extract all or run. I'll do the extract. And Ryan also says extract.
That's kind of a no-brainer.
Certainly data files you can access within the zip file, but I think most of the time programs we've got to extract them. Don't know that for sure. Okay. Oh no, it was CPU-Z, wasn't it? Where we get the oh no, here it is. Here it is. Transfer mode. Yeah. PCIe 3.0 X2, PCIe 3.0 X4, and we saw the labeling on the M.2 that shows it's X4, which implies that the motherboard is X2. So the speeds we'd be getting on Crystal Disk Mark would be the X2 speeds, not the full speed capability of the
Rand
X4.
Israel said same issue. Very strange.
I'm assuming it's because of the low cost of the computer that helped them keep the cost of the computer down. And perhaps the X4 capability of the NVMe. Why didn't they buy an X2 NVMe? Well, maybe there wasn't that much price difference or any. Zavi Manor saying too hot. I'm not sure what you think the computer.
Well, something on that Crystal just said it was like 66 something. Yeah, it was pretty toasty.
Oh, all right. Oh, here, yeah, 60 degrees Celsius. Yeah, it's red. Composite temperature. That computer has been on for, I'm not sure how long. It might have been on overnight. We can find out. Right-click on the taskbar, choose Task Manager, go to Performance, Processes. Over here on the left, that signal there, then on CPU, it's been up for 1 day and 18 hours. Yeah, so it's not being exercised right now, but I did notice when I was working with these computers, I feel like I'm about to sneeze. It was pretty warm inside when I took the cover off. And there is no thermal material on the M.2 drive.
At that temperature, it also seems to signify there's no airflow across it either.
I'd say there isn't. I'm going to show that here.
Does that thing have a fan in it? I don't remember if I saw that or not.
We haven't seen it, but I can hear it.
Okay.
Man, it's probably barely enough to keep CPU clean, cool.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, there is access to the case ventilation on that side there, but is there anything that would cause air to flow across there? I don't see that. This the circuit board here is hot. The M.2 is not as hot as the circuit board. That strikes me odd. Yeah, definitely the motherboard is hot. I don't think I've ever noticed this before, but there seems
Brian
to be...
Lightfoot said, leave the side cover off and see if the temperature drops.
Okay, Brian, he did a speaker bot. Leave the side cover off, see if the temperature drops. There seems to be contact, fingers or surfaces on the back side of the M.2. Have I just never noticed that on the other M.2s?
It's possible.
Looking around to see if I have a fan convenient. It is a little bit warm here in this room as well.
I know in a Princess Cam mini computer, I had a 120 millimeter fan to it to move enough airflow through it to keep it cool enough to stay running.
Greg M, there's possibly a grounding contact on the NVMe at the screw hole, but it's got those contacts. It's 6 contacts. Whoa. I just accidentally started my desk going down. What are you doing, desk? It's at a severe angle right now. Didn't restore back to its automatic position because there was too much torque. It was stopping automatically. Okay, that's back.
Ran Israel said, can you zoom in on that NVMe drive?
Doing that now, Ran. Let's see how that is. All right. Now let me work on focusing that. Tim Cruz, thank you for the $2 super chat. And then let me flip that over. Transform 180 degrees. There. Now these contact points I was referring to are back
Official
here
Tim Tech said super sticker
next to the screw. Super sticker, not a super chat. Oh, that's right. It's a sticker because it's got this animated thing out on the right side. That's the difference between a super chat or super sticker. With a super sticker, I don't think you get to type any message.
Read chat, please.
It probably got a stronger hold.
Okay, reading chat from Zvi Manor. Did you install that backwards, which I think be impossible? No. That was just a joke. Hi, what in the world are the what appears to be contacts in that metal screw? Yeah. Zvi, how did he have his, oh, up here. Download specs portable to check temps. Download species portable to check temps.
Read chat, please.
And this was ran Israel. Samsung Drive have similar contact points. There's 2.
Probably programming points.
There's
for
2
the
there.
chip itself.
Yeah, I would think it has something to do with their internal testing or manufacturing or something. Yeah, that has 2 contact points, where this one has 6. Now let's get back to this Species Portable. Species Portable. Download from one of these 2.
Ran Israel said, the grey pop-up is covering the bottom part in the image.
Oh, all right. I'll reload it with uBlock Origin active. I don't want to subscribe. Oh, it did the download without subscribing. I was starting to pursue Crystal Disk Mart to watch the temps while it's running a speed test.
I don't think, as far as the
Oh, wait a minute. I just downloaded Species to this computer, to Big Beast. That's not what I want. That computer is, yeah, all right. I don't have remote connection to that computer right now. Let's
Ran
do...
Israel said, I meant in the image of the Samsung drive I linked.
Oh, all right. This is the Samsung you linked. I think it was the cookies notification that was the trouble. But he's referring to these 2 contact points, I think, and there's also these 10 looks like electrical contacts for some purpose, but those ones there are the gold-plated fingers. How, I would think for a minute how I'm going to do this.
Ran Israel said, say the 10 points on the bottom.
Yeah, well, the 10 points on the bottom, if you're referring to these 10 round points, those are quite different than what's on down here. They're not round points. These look like the same contact points almost that are used on the end that plugs into the M.2 socket. That is capture. Wait a minute. Isn't that? Oh, that is the computer. Okay. All right. So here's how I'll get that link. Is on the subject computer. I'll go to youtube.com/LWTDB so I can grab that link from the chat.
Good afternoon, Mr. Weisenberger.
Good afternoon.
Hello, Gary.
Good afternoon. Hello.
Let's see, there's chat.
Zvi Manor said, I think those are probe contacts for testing in lab.
Yeah, that makes sense, Zvi. That is the Samsung drive link. I gotta make this bigger so I can see it. That's the Samsung. The species was from Zvi. There it is. Species 64, I assume.
Zvi Manor
That's from
said
CC
run.
Cleaner, it looks like.
Read chat please.
Checking on chat from Ran Israel. This Intel drive has the same context as your drive. Can you find an explanation? Yeah, that does have those same contexts. Can you find an explanation for those? Zvi wanted us to go in here. Let's see, storage. And that was to check temps.
Zvi Manor said motherboard.
Motherboard temps. Oh, okay. That makes sense because I was saying the motherboard is hot.
Rain Israel said, I agree with at Zvi Manor and at Greg M. These are probably test points.
I may be in the wrong place. Summary. Do you have guidance for where to go to, Zvi? You said motherboard, but I'm not seeing anything there about temperatures. Brian's asking, what does the temperature show now that the cover's been off for 10 minutes? We'll take a look. 49 degrees. It has cooled down.
Zvi Manor said no report of temp in motherboard.
All right. Is this, Zvi, do you know that species does give a temperature of the motherboard when the motherboard is reporting that, and maybe it's just not reporting it? Or were you not certain that species reports that at all? Checks in the mail, Brian. As my nose gets longer again. Okay, so we're on.
Pinocchio.
I'm headed back to Crystal Disk Mark and see what happens to temperatures while a speed test is
Greg
running.
M said it would have been better to have that side of the case be metal with a thermal pad on it, conduct heat from NVMe and motherboard.
Yeah. Greg M, it would have been better to have that side of the case be metal with a thermal pad. I don't know what the fan state is on the other side of the motherboard, because if this heat is coming from the CPU rather than the NVMe, then what they need to cool is the CPU. But when I touch the NVMe, it is not as warm as the motherboard. There's a substantial difference. Obsolete projects. This, yeah, that's Crystal Disk Mark. Zip. Now let's go for the fun edition.
Zvi Manor said in my computer specs show temp motherboard.
In his computer, species shows temp of the motherboard. So perhaps this motherboard isn't reporting that in a way that species can find it. It's this one, I think. Ren Israel saying it should also show temps in the main
Wintermute said
summary
Spacky
page. Yeah, I looked at the summary page and did not see temperatures there. I'll bring that up again for you to validate what I'm saying. Species, where are you? There. Up here on summary. I don't see anything there showing temperature. I see the link from Zvi. Let me get this test going. Did I already launch it?
Ran Israel said cheap motherboard, no sensors.
Yeah, that could be. Ran Israel saying cheap motherboard doesn't have sensors.
Yeah, it's entirely possible.
Yeah.
What do you expect for $220?
Oh, right. They gotta save it somewhere.
Did you try hardware info?
No, we haven't got there yet.
John Williams
No,
said, does
HW
CPU
monitors.
hardware monitor
Or
show those temps?
HW info is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know. We haven't downloaded it yet. Also, I wonder if CPU-Z might report temperatures. I'm waiting right now to see if this running speed test increases the heat. We're showing 55 now. We were down to 40 previously.
Anything 50 or below doesn't concern me. Once it start getting above 50, then I become concerned.
Yeah. Okay. While that's running, we'll go grab HW info. Portable, not the advertisement. Free download, local US.
Ran
Looking at the
Israel
bottom
said, does
left.
Crystal Disk Info needs
Hang on.
refreshing to update the temp shown?
Maybe, Ran. We'll take a look at that. Bottom left corner, when I'm highlighting what I intend to download, I'm looking at the bottom left corner to be sure that URL looks like it's the actual download that I want, rather than getting tricked into some advertising. So I'll go into Crystal Disk Info, see if we need to refresh. Edit. Here's a refresh on the function page. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Jumps to 64. We're in the red again. Hello, Dave Hall. Welcome. He says, finally managed to catch a live event. Glad to have you. Okay, so did that download? Yes.
Brian Lightfoot said it would ever higher temp with the cover back on.
It would ever higher temp with the cover back on. You might be saying you think it would get even higher with the cover back on rather than off. And if I were to blow some air over the top of it with a fan, that might help cool it down too. Not that it's really cooling it, but just blowing the hot air away from it. It would even higher temp with the cover back on. Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with that suspicion. Do not check for updates. Do not notify about beta. And
Not Nesco. Do not collect $200.
yeah. Okay, then scrolling down to look for, there's temperatures for the CPU. CPU's okay. Seeing a lot of blue. Let's scroll down and see if I find any red. No, now I'll find where's the drive. Here's the 1 terabyte SSD, 67 degrees, that's showing. What does Crystal Disk Info currently say? Get a refresh in the function menu or F5 key. It says Crystal Disk Info says 67, HW Info says 62. So if they're both showing us numbers as reported by the drive itself, it seems like they ought to agree. The software doesn't actually have its own temperature sensor.
What? John Williams said a cheap can of brake clean will cool it right down. LOL.
Oh, hey, that's what I could do. I could try blowing compressed air on it.
Yeah, but
I have that at hand.
that's only momentary, honestly.
Oh, this drive temperature, look how much it's changing now. 73, it was just down to, there's 62, 69, 68. That's jumping around quite a bit. And Crystal Disk Mark was done. 66, 60, 64, 59. That seems like that's jumping around quite a bit considering there's nothing going
Ryan
on
Israel
right now.
said they show the same temps. Crystal Disk Info isn't updating in real time.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. Rand Israel says they're showing the same temps. They're just, Crystal Disk Info is not updating in real time.
Oh, no, it never will. That's not what it was
Yeah,
designed.
right. So I'm going to try with the F5 key. I'm repeatedly tapping the F5 key in Crystal Disk Info. And yeah, it looks like they are sticking close together. Yep, they sure both went down to 61 at the same time. 60.
The default for Crystal Disk is 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Brian Lightfoot said drill a hole in the M.2 to let out the hot air.
Now, Crystal Disk Info is reporting that with a red coloring. HW Info is not showing a coloring. I thought I've seen it show colors when something is excessive in HW Info. There's a settings gear for HW Info. So values, columns, toggling, Celsius and Fahrenheit. We'll leave them both showing Celsius. I was looking to see if there's anything in here telling it to
Zvi
display
Manor
colors.
said use liquid nitrogen for cooling.
Yeah, I got a can of liquid nitrogen over here, Zvi. Sure. All right. And I think, does Crystal Disk Info let me change the refresh time?
You have to 1 minute.
To 1 minute?
That's the best you can do.
All right. I'll just use F5. Okay. So do I have the temperatures on screen? Yeah, drive temperature 54. And the F5. Oops, I got to make that window active. Okay, here we go. Spraying now. Yeah.
You're going to use that the can before you're done.
I'm done. I'm done. I had that on my mind too. Compressed air is not cheap.
No, it ain't.
So fit. Now we got down to 43. Now let's watch it climb back up. And then we'll put the cover on. Yeah, Wintermute, I just ran Crystal Disk Mark in the back. It's showing right between those two windows. I want to let the temperature stabilize, then we'll launch that again. Hello, Alex Cheek.
Hello, Doug. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing all right.
Lawn Dog, thank you. Saying he did a promotional for my channel. All right, is that stable at 50? Nope, 52. Ryan says the temperature will drop if I turn it off.
Duh. Oh, thank you, Captain Obvious.
Yeah.
I do hate to be negative Nelly, but Kingston it comes in some low-end Dell machines, a Gen 4x4 that tops out at 2 gig. And there's PC Gen 3 4 that top out at 4 gig.
Yeah, I think you made that comment in chat, or somebody did. So would that be implying a inexpensive Gen 4 by 4? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you can
produce low
slow.
speeds. Responding to Dave Hall, he says, I don't recommend that. I ruined a good motherboard that way. Liquid came out with the compressed air. I was conscientious of that. And what I did is I sprayed the compressed air away from the computer first to be sure I was getting a good clean spray, and then keep the can upright. If you turn the can sideways, trying to get into corners and such, you can have liquid come out.
All right, you ready for a change of topic?
Yeah, well, let me get this test going. I'm going to give up on trying to get that more stable. So Crystal Disk Mark test running, and I'll keep. Yeah, there's climbing. What's your other topic, Jim?
Supposedly, and this is via a different avenue, something about the receiver.
Yes. Thank you. I meant to bring that up yesterday and forgot.
Now we got roughly 30 minutes to go till we hit 4 o'clock. I figure now's a good time.
Yeah. So we're seeing that climb very quickly with that speed test running. Let's see if we can get it to a stable high temperature. Of course, end users are never going to be stressing it to this level. What does the motherboard temperature show? Oh, the Crystal Disk info refreshes. Pause while I'm trying to maneuver. CPU package 48 degrees. CPU, memory smart. Drive temperature 71 on this. Yeah, that's the drive. I don't know if I'm not seeing a separate temperature specifically for the motherboard. Refreshing Crystal Disk info. Whoop, I hit the wrong key. FN, F5. All right. I think that's gone on far enough. Then on this topic about audio receiver needed by Chiropractor, we can, well, let me just get to this place and then describe it. What I'm going to do is bring up my iCloud to show you the photos of the equipment involved. The, let's see, we got 3x3 now. Fix those. 3x3. There. The Chiropractor uses Pandora playing on from a computer connected into a stereo receiver, which is connected to the speakers that are installed in each of his treatment rooms. Each treatment room has only one speaker. The output from the computer and the receiver is stereo. So some of the rooms play the right channel, some of the rooms play the left channel. That's not actually the problem that we're trying to resolve.
Okay.
Problem we're trying to resolve is it's intermittently going bad, and we thought originally that it was when his wife was connecting remotely through LogMeIn and the audio was being channeled to her computer, and that was happening. We fixed that, but his intermittent cutout of the speakers is still happening. So I was over there yesterday morning before the show, before showtime, and we determined that the sound was coming out of the computer to the receiver, but it was not getting out to the speakers. And this is an old receiver that he's got. And
I was just going to ask, how old are we talking about?
yeah. And you're about to get a laugh if you're watching the, well, you don't have to watch the YouTube because you're going to see that even in Zoom.
Okay, I got to pin this for me.
So there it is. I'm going to go over and hit the air conditioner again.
I got one actually from the 90s, and that looks like it's about the era, same era as mine. It works fine. It just don't have all the stuff on it, but you can add all that stuff.
Well, he doesn't really need much. All he's using it for, I'll show you the back side of it, is here's the stereo connector coming from the computer, attaches to this adapter, and that connects us to the RCA inputs for the CD channel. And back here you see the speaker wires. I had no idea this picture was focused so poorly. But the speaker wires, there's 6 speakers out there, and the person who put this together twisted 3 of the speakers together to put them on each of these 2 different channels. So these 2 different channels are the front and rear for a surround sound, and each speaker is connected to the let's see, how's it basically connected to one side of the stereo sound, to each of them. So all he's really using this receiver for is a way to connect the stereo connectors from the computer to the speakers that are just hardwired without any connectors on the end. And of course, the receiver is also providing amplification. So our most easy, convenient solution would just to be purchase some other form of receiver, which I don't know that equipment very well at all. That gives me the ability to connect these wires as an output and connect either the RCA or a single stereo, whatever, 3.5 millimeter, is that what it's called? into the input of the receiver would be fine. I haven't done any Amazon searching. I haven't done any Googling. I know there's people in this community that are far more experienced with audio equipment than I am. So I figured I'd ask the question. If you can easily guide me to something, then that would be helpful. We don't need the CD function. We don't need the radio receiver. We don't need, all we need is to connect his computer to these speakers in some fashion. I suppose
You probably need an amplifier, though.
Say again?
You probably need an amplifier.
Yeah, an amplifier. So we can't just take, I don't think it's reasonable to just take a 3.5 millimeter from the computer and some way connect that directly to the speakers and go out.
Well,
It won't be enough.
No, not at all.
Definitely not.
They make smaller amplifiers than that now physically that may fit better in space.
Well, that's what we're looking for. Oh, here's another picture. This gives a close-up. So here we have right and left. And then, let's see. Yeah, these speakers are connected to the plus and the minus for the right. So some of the rooms are only getting the right signal. Some of the rooms are only getting the left signal. Now, another thing there is I could just configure the computer to output mono instead of stereo.
Right.
Now
Yeah,
that would fix that piece right there.
Yes, it would.
But the problem, the more you parallel your speakers, the more you reduce your impedance.
Say that again?
He's right, but the speakers are probably not that good.
Yeah, no, they're not. But
they are speakers. It's two separate channels, two separate rights, two separate lefts. That be 2 ohms.
Is there a digital audio out on the
effectively
computer?
impedance. An impedance. The speakers.
Yeah. Now, the quality of the speakers is completely adequate. And remember, these are treatment rooms in a chiropractor's office. He doesn't want to turn the volume up, right? It's very soft.
Right. Well, you've got
Really bust them if you did that.
you've got an interesting selection. I mean, you can go. There's stuff here. I see Yamaha, which isn't too bad. Stereo receiver starting at like 170 roughly. So it's not expensive if all you need is very basic function.
Yeah, no, you just need basic function. John Williams says, is there digital audio out on the computer? I'm pretty sure there is, but I don't feel any reason we need to go to that extent. We're not, this isn't a concert hall.
Right.
Unless a digital out from the computer somehow gives us a more convenient connection. I don't see how that could be because it has to be, it's got to be converted to analog to get to the speakers then somewhere.
Well, like you said, it works most of the time, right?
Yeah. And it will sometimes it's working without his wife connecting, they just stop working. And other times, once it is stopped working, he'll be in the treatment rooms and all of a sudden the music just starts playing. And I'm thinking it's that amplifier, receiver, whatever is the right way to call it, is just old.
Yeah,
probably thermal overloading the output stage.
Thermal overload, bad capacitors because it's so freaking old, they're dried out, and it could be any one of a number of things.
Yeah, that's looking like 30 years old.
Yeah. He has he has no hesitation to spending reasonable money on it. And the only reason
John Williams
we
said
hadn't
bypass the stereo receiver and get an amplifier.
We hadn't pursued this yet because we thought the problem was when his wife was connecting through LogMeIn. And yes, that was a problem, but it wasn't the only problem. What the comment that just came up here with John Williams say, bypass the stereo receiver and get an amplifier. That sounds fine if we can just use some kind of an amplifier that I'd rather not rework the connections. There's nothing soldered here to begin with. Dave Hull, I'm not an electronics soldering person. We don't need to be at that level. Twisted wires connected to something that handles twisted wires is fine.
Got 4 speakers and they're twisted on like that.
The problem is if you search for audio amplifier, especially on Amazon, it's going to come with the receiver because it costs almost nothing to add it.
Yeah, I would think so. Lawn Dog telling me to look at garage sales. Lawn Dog, my time.
Yeah, let's not.
Come
That's
on.
ridiculous.
No.
You're buying somebody else's problem.
Yeah, no.
That
Keep
doesn't
the
make any
time
sense. I'm
involvement
sorry.
down.
Let's
It's
see.
not that money is an issue. We can spend whatever's reasonable. We can spend $100, $200. It seems to me that should take care of it. Fine. We're not strapped for money. We want to do something that makes it quick and easy, reduces the amount of time involved. I don't want to put connectors on these speaker wires.
Yeah, and the
Hey,
tuner
Doug.
would be tuner will be a good idea because if you're in an emergency situation and you might need to listen to local radio or something, I mean,
he's not going to be doing that through his treatment rooms. He's not going to go into the kitchen area to retune the output to a radio station to listen to news and then go back in the treatment room to listen to news. No.
Doug,
I was just thinking that they might be stuck there for whatever reason, but it's okay.
No,
They can listen to it on the computer. They don't need to put it in every room.
Everybody's overthinking this.
Here,
Doug,
take a look at what I just posted in chat.
Yeah, well, I got this one that Jim put in. That's fine.
This has 8 speaker outputs, though, the one I posted. 8 pairs.
All right. Yeah, this one
has 4.
Yeah, this one would be basically working the same way as we have now. So I'm going to grab Gary's link.
You have to search on mine because like the link is like a mile long.
Oh.
So search on it and you'll get it in Amazon.
In Amazon? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and put this in my cart so that gives me an easy way to get back to it. So
Doug, in your Zoom chat, you'll find there's a link to a page with amplifiers for no stereo, no nothing, just in and outs. And your the Zoom chat.
The Zoom, can you put it in the YouTube chat? I don't want to have to deal with 2
Let
different
me get on
chat
YouTube
rooms.
then.
So Gary, what am I searching for?
What I typed in chat.
Oh,
Kyle.
Good. Pile. Do a copy paste. Perfect.
I was wondering if Powell was a good brand.
It's probably, I mean, for what they want, it's not great. I mean, it's going to play, you know.
Yeah, I've seen them.
It'll be fine for our purposes. Now, this pile is $117. This AK55 is $50.
But take a look at the back. It's got each speaker on its own, you know. That's what I was looking at.
Yeah, because they have these wire connectors for each speaker separately. That's a little bit easier, convenient to connect them all because I don't have to bother twisting them together even.
It's in the normal chat.
All right. So yeah, this looks like a fine choice. I'll add that one to the cart. Then I'm gonna go. Let's see. Why is this so? No, maximize there. If I go back, I'm gonna pick up that other one that was showing. Whoops. Oh, I got out of Amazon.
And I am not recommending that brand one way or another. I was just looking.
You just saw it.
You know, I'm thinking barely an AM speaker type of thing back in the day, car speaker in the each shop, each room.
Well, that $49 one is no longer showing up next to the pile.
I mean, I would not buy that for my house, but
No,
it's not a chiropractor office.
Right. That's not the point that we're after here. I don't know where that one is, so I'll go get the one from, was it Chris or Bill that put in this other one? I guess I'll just go look at it.
Bill?
Bill. All right.
I'm assuming this isn't a chiropractor where they serve you wine and, take time.
No, not oddly. Oh, here's a $36 one. Is that, let's see, what was he trying to get me to? This is just a search on Amazon. Which one was he trying to get me to?
I don't think he was trying to get you to anything in particular.
I think that was searching the whole 9 yards there.
Yeah. So look at this. This one has, this one I would just have to do the twisting, which they are already twisted together. So even getting this one is in a sense simpler and easier because I just take the twisted triplets out of the existing one and put them into the new one. And that's $37.
You have to put all 6 speakers on one. Yeah, I don't know about that. That might be pushing it.
No, that's the way it's configured at the moment, isn't it?
It was.
No, I thought again.
I wouldn't have to. No, it had 4 connectors. So right, plus
Okay.
and negative for.
I thought you had,
It'd be exactly the same way it's already.
I thought you had 4 pair on the old one.
The current has 6 pair, and they are
Okay,
they are twisted together in 3s.
Yeah, and that one had 2 pair. Or one
Well,
pair.
no. There's 6 pairs of speakers connected to 2 pairs of outputs.
Looked like there was more. In the back of that, it looked like there was more. Maybe I saw it wrong.
No, there was only the existing one only has 4 connections.
Yeah, here it is on screen again. 4 connections.
Oh, I thought there was 2 underneath. I didn't see it.
No. Yeah, I can see where you might think there's another row under there, but there's not.
Okay, yeah, it's 6 to, okay, that might be. Yeah, that's.
It's ugly, but.
Well, 6 speakers. That's only 3 pairs of speakers. That's not too bad.
Right.
Low end speakers.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be running 15-inch woofers off of that. No.
Wintermute puts in an eBay link for $50.
Sorry, this
That's
is no
used.
No,
yeah,
way overthinking this stuff. Yeah.
You buy new.
Well, no, that might be new.
Actually, what he's showing here is I think this is the exact model that we currently have.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I think that's what he's showing. KLH model 5100.
$50. So in other words, you're.
Yeah, it's the exact model. Which of course we have no reason to do, but he's just giving us information about that model. Yeah.
Okay. Just because I'm me, I gotta.
Here we go.
Was there more to that? Oh, here's Alias Tepe. This one works in mono, he says. I can just configure the computer to output in mono. I don't need the receiver to do that.
Yeah, that's probably the best option.
I'm looking at Reddit, Home Theater Forum from 2002, and that was a $99 receiver in 2002.
So it's 22 years old. He got his money's worth out of it. That's for sure.
That's what I was chasing. Yeah. $100 22 years ago. Salute that and e-waste it.
Dave Hall saying hand twisted wire connections can and do cause problems over time. Well, certainly, but again, it's the application and purpose here that just.
My car studio cost over $1,000 in 20. in 2000. So.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody. That made my task a lot easier. And I'll be selecting one of those and ordering
John
it
Williams
today.
said, I am still using my 1975 Fisher 4030
I have to
serial
ask
AM
John
FM
Williams a
receiver.
question.
Go.
Is that in a console or is it a
Manuel
separate
said
unit?
curiosity. Have you tried the free fax with your client?
No, we haven't done the free fax yet, Zvi. I just haven't picked up the phone and taken the next step on that.
Hey Doug, I have
Yeah.
a topic for you real quick.
All right.
Because I know you have Comcast internet. Have you ever experienced an issue where your internet got upgraded all of a sudden and your cable modem got fried because of upgrading the speed?
No.
Never heard of that.
Yeah, that makes no sense at all. Coincidence, maybe, but no.
There's nothing they're doing that should send voltage to it.
Because I asked that because I got an email from my grandma's cable company the other day, a couple of days ago, tell me they upgraded her speed. I went to the computer. I went to try to log into the computer I've got over there to try to run the updates, and all that, and it wouldn't connect. And I saw that her router on my app on my phone was offline. So then I called the company, called her customer service, and they told me that they was not able to see her modem online. So my thought process is because they bumped her speed up significantly, it may have pushed too much power to the modem and fried the.
No.
It sounds like you got power surge of some type.
Yeah, or
either the thing was so old that it couldn't keep up with the speed, like the processor in it was too slow. That's possible.
To be honest,
blowing it up.
I'm not sure I agree with that, but I will say I have seen them do a firmware update and botch it. If you have power surge at the time of firmware.
Alex, you haven't said anything about restarting the modem.
Yeah.
Was that done?
I can't do that right now because I'm not there.
Okay.
And I can't walk her through how to do it.
Just have her unplug it from the wall.
Unplug the power.
Yeah.
You do that
much? Unplug, count to 30, plug it back in.
Yeah.
That's all it would take.
Or they'll switch to breaker if she can't do that.
Yeah. I
Might
think
be an on and off switch.
pulling the plug would be better than switch the breakers.
Yeah,
anyway.
Jesus, that's like using an elephant on a mouse.
Yeah.
I'm being funny.
Tell her it's
All
like
right.
a coffee pot. Just
But
unplug
anyway,
the coffee pot, plug it in.
that modem is like at least 4 years old. So it's
It
time to
should-
get a new one in. So I've already ordered her a new one. It'll be in tomorrow, and I will go install it Monday, and it'll be fixed. Hopefully, it's no outside wiring. Some of her outside wiring is so old that I would not be surprised if it would not allow the full 300 meg that she's supposed to be getting now.
It's not that old. 20 years will do it. I have houses with 20-year-old wiring that are doing 1 gig without a problem.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but her wiring is like 30 plus years old because she's had cable TV there as long as I've been alive.
Well, I suspect that if you just unplug that modem and plug it in, it's going to work fine, and it may be able to handle the speed. If it doesn't handle the speed, then try the new modem that you've already ordered. Coincidentally,
I did that because I did that anyway. Went ahead and updated the modem anyway because I looked up the specifications on the existing one. It only supports up to like 350 megs per second, and that's their minimum speed now. So I went ahead and upgraded her to a modem that will support a full gig.
Well, that kind of supports my theory that the thing is so old that the processor can't keep up.
Yeah, but a 4-year-old modem should support 300 meg easy.
Well, the other thing I'm thinking is wherever you looked up that speed capability that it supports, they might have told that might have been the top speed at that point in time. and they're not going to change the original documentation because higher speed is now available. So just because that's what they were promoting it for, or the specs say it's capable of back then, doesn't necessarily mean that it won't do the higher speeds now. I've seen many times where a BIOS update, a firmware update, allows a device to now work faster than it did originally.
We also have the possibility, as somebody pointed out in the YouTube chat, the DOCSIS chip.
Possible DOCSIS chip is not supported. She had DOCSIS 3.0 and ISP upgrade to DOCSIS 3.1 or 4.0.
I agree with that. I mean, that is a correct statement, but a 4-year-old modem, they wouldn't have sold with that. I mean, they gave them the truth. I just don't think they still had them 4 years ago.
Right.
Yeah.
They want you to upgrade without coming out again.
I have had many times where I've called Comcast for one reason or another, and they tell me that I can come pick up a free new modem that supports their newer features or speed or something, and I do that, but I didn't even know that I had a problem.
I still say unplug it and plug it in. I mean,
absolutely.
And most of the time, they mail you one in a brand new one to your house, post those prepaid postage box to send the old one back to them.
They will if you pay. They will if you pay them $10 rental fee a month, and that's. She hasn't had to do that for several years because I've always bought her modems and routers.
Not covered by it. It's not a problem in insurance, not a problem in cable company. Their line stops, their concern stops at the wire going to the modem. After that, it's all yours. Because they're not receiving money for the modem. It's your property.
Okay, we're winding down. That kind of conveniently finishes that topic. Let's check in with this computer, see where it's at.
Actually, I had a.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Gary.
I actually been following from afar your in 95, 97 100s. I hate to be the downer, but you should go maybe the next tier up for about 250, because I'm looking at a 4-year build on this, and I think, they're, like you said, I think one's a law office. They're probably using Lexus, quite possibly, or Westlaw. That's got a big upgrade coming next year. It's still going to be a browser based, but it's going to be a lot more graphics. It's going to be a PIG. I've gotten emails that they want 16 gig on your machine to start using it. That's how robust they're going to make this stupid thing. They're actually looking at 4K modems on this stupid thing. Because I have Lexus and I have Westlaw both on my desktop at work. It's a couple of law practice softwares, they're getting bigger. I mean, in 2 or 3 years, you might not be able to handle that computer. I mean, for another $100, you're getting 8 cores, maybe like a 5800H, 6600U. I mean, I'm not an AMD fan. I think Jim's the AMD guy, but for $100, you're kind of getting a 5-year instead of a 2-year. I mean,
yeah, that is a possibility that if we find these are underperforming, that we might change that around. I think they are. I mean, with these particular clients, I'm comfortable with this as an experiment. And if we wind up doing something else for them, but I'm okay with this. So,
then I wanted to make, sorry.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
I was going to make a CrowdStrike comment.
All right.
But I have said one thing on here on a couple of different places about Windows 11. Other than that, I've said nothing about what we run, other than obviously ERP, EDI, MRP, all that kind of stuff. I won't say. But there's competitors to CrowdStrike, and you can have the same problem. And actually, one of the things that hit with the CrowdStrike thing is if the machine wasn't on, it wouldn't have got hit.
Right.
And that's why if you're not using it, our machines are off. And that's one of the reasons but we don't use CrowdStrike. I will state that. I won't state what we do use, but not there. Not because it's bad, just not what we use.
And it conceivably could happen with whatever you are using. Any
Correct.
of the software, any software products out there could have this kind of a circumstance happen.
I will say everything we're using as of today, again, I'm not going to say what, but they don't get to update before we update. In other words, if they give them an update, it doesn't hit the machines until we've tested it.
Yeah.
Nothing does.
Right. Right.
Now, what we could have, and we have picked our vendors specifically, I won't say who, but like our ERP and whatnot, they're not hosting anything. And we do not have any phone homes other than to say, we have a phone home. Think of your Microsoft 365. If you don't log on today, you can still use the Office without logging onto your local account for a day or two. It'll sooner or later ding you to log on, but you can still use it. You know, if your wireless is down, you can still use Word.
Right.
That's how our software is.
Okay.
I gotta go. Not John Boy.
Thank you, Chris. Bye.
So we've done that purposely because of this. Other than that, I won't, I'm not going to go anymore, but yeah, because that is something I've consciously been afraid of for a long time. If, because it's like I said in chat yesterday, we actually, reach out to other companies, and there was one of our shippers, they can't communicate because their server, wherever it's at in some cloud, that server got banged. So they can't use their stuff. We can't hit theirs to hit theirs. If that makes any sense what I just said.
Yeah.
So, not only is their workstation not down, their server's down. So that we can't get to their, roundabout way. That's kind of what hit. Like, I was supposed to go someplace yesterday, and that's why I was on you guys. Detroit was down, DTW, Detroit Metro.
Well, I'm wondering if more of the large companies might adopt the posture you have.
Well, I worked in insurance, health insurance, and health insurance besides HIPAA, we also, the big thing with health insurance, this is not, everybody should know this. We get we have a premium from your employer. You have 50,000 employees, we get the premium. That premium does not go to the bank. That gets invested. We have reserves. So we're watching both sides. And then we also have in-house employees, in-house, back in the day. So yeah, I could not have that. But I will say one last thing that has happened with like Ticketmaster. We have very few channels where you can take more than X amount of rows out of a database at a time. That scares me how somebody got 1 million rows out of a database. If I had somebody hitting one of my databases saying, I want 2 million parts at a time, I'm like, what the heck is going on? And clamp that.
Yeah.
Think about that. When you talk about Ticketmaster, AT&T, excuse me, how did AT&T, what port did you have open that said, hey, just stuff all day out of this port? And nobody said, hey, who's grabbing our database?
Yeah, that's something that should have triggered alarms.
Think of Amazon.
Geez.
You just looked at Amazon. I looked at Amazon, but you didn't just download their whole database at one time.
Right.
You're like, wait, Doug's downloading. Wait, you looked at 55,000, 50,000, 500,000. What's going on here? Stop. Oh, and had one other quickie. Yeah, that was it. That was it. But the other thing is, one last thing, just because I a lot of people are talking, but most people have been hit, because I know a couple of people that have, not big, because they're doing what we do, even with CrowdStrike. It's like back in the day, they used to want us to let them use our name with the software we had to advertise to the X insurance company.
Yeah.
I'm not telling you what software I have. I'm not telling you what firewall I have.
And you're not letting them use you as a...
Yeah, I don't need a free trip that bad.
Yeah.
Because, that's like saying, hey, I have a master lock on my bicycle. You go, what brand? What model number? Well,
yeah, and everybody who knows how to defeat that brand and model will come after you.
Or they'll try to find out how.
Yeah.
I would like you to try to pick my lock and not know what lock I have. I mean, why give you a head start? Oh, well, I know I got to bring the master pick, as opposed to Yale, or I'm using an example, but let you come with all of them. Makes you more obvious. Oh, I had one more for fiber and cable, just kind of off the top. Actually, I have 2 quickies. I know we were going over. This one was something Alex was talking about the other day, about talking to people in a nursing home or something, or old retirement home.
Yeah.
I went to my 50th class reunion, high school graduation. I was not the youngest. The youngest in my graduation class was 13. The oldest was 19.
Wait a minute. Was 13 almost 19? I don't think I heard that right.
Well, the youngest high school graduate in my class was 13. The oldest was 19.
Oh.
That gives you a thrill. The 19-year-old his parents were actually in the Peace Corps, believe it or not. And he had never went to high school. He had 2 years of high school.
Oh, all right.
He was homeschooled in like Bangladesh or someplace back in like the 60s.
Yeah.
Early 60s. Anyway, we were talking about it because it's going to be in August. And we have 8 people that work with IT companies. And we're like, wait, we're in our 60s. We're getting tired of people calling 60s and 70-year-olds. We wrote the software that these kids are using. Shut up. I met an 86-year-old lady the other day. And this is a real quick story. She's got an Alienware, and she's explaining to me why she has Alienware brand new computer, because it has a 5 gig Ether port, and she can hook it up to her 5 gig fiber network. She's 86. She had her grandson who's 11, and she set her Wi-Fi on her Apple phone in my car so he could play his video games off his laptop. She's 86.
Cool.
So
all right.
Old people know what they're doing.
They can.
And
yeah. And conversely, I've come across young people who I have to explain to them what I mean by the click the Windows button. I have to explain to them what I mean by the title bar or the address bar in a browser. Yeah, I can work the other way around as well.
That was it.
Okay, we're done. All right. Would everybody say goodbye, please?
As soon as I turn on my mug camera, there we go. Good night, John boy.
Thank you so much for hanging out in Zoom, and I will end the session. Come over here. Thank you for everybody watching. And let's see, I got to do this button and then that button. Oh, how did I already end it? Well, you know the drill. There's those things you can click on, and I hit them in the wrong order, I guess. Goodbye. Have a good weekend.